10-foot wall. Dinosaurs. And prep work. Lots and lots of prep work.
You guys know I hate prep work. What's up, guys? We are back at Kids Lane Daycare. I have done a few murals for this daycare and they have hired me to do this long hallway, which is really cool, except for the fact that I came ready to project and make this job nice and simple, and it is too short of a distance from the wall to this wall to project. It's just not going to work out. I may be able to go into this bathroom, back it up kind of a bit, and have the projector go at the wall. Hopefully that will work for just one character right here, but I actually planned out 4 characters. So after taping all this off and making it look like Dexter and taking a couple hours to do so, I have realized I don't want to come back after this weekend. I want to get it done in one weekend. Is it possible? At this point, I really have no idea. I think I've got some long days ahead of me for, it's Friday night. I wanted to just plan as much as I could tonight. And yeah, come back Saturday and Sunday and see what I can get done. So let me take you back to the drawing board and show you what I got planned. All right, so here are 2 sketches that I did on my Twitch live stream. I draw every week for, I don't know, like 3 hours or so. If you guys want to follow along, you can follow me at Woke1 on Twitch and check the schedule there. Once I made those, I decided to plug them into my iPad by taking pictures of them, and then I drew them out as line drawings and put an entire collage together. So I showed you guys these 2 dinosaurs earlier, but we have 30 feet of wall, so I wanted to add some more. The first dinosaur I decided to add was a pterodactyl, and this was drawn on my iPad Pro in a program called Procreate. Once I had enough of the sketch mapped out, I decided it was time to draw a stegosaurus. I knew I wanted to have the stegosaurus interacting with the triceratops, and I thought it could be playful if they were both fighting over an art supply. Once I had all of my characters mapped out, I opened a new file in Procreate and laid all my characters in and made fine line drawings of them. This would have obviously been very useful if I was able to project, but at least I could see some clean line drawings and transfer those lines onto the wall for my Doodle Grid that I will show you guys in just a few minutes. Okay, I've got my battery pack and my projector sitting on my crate on a table that I put in the bathroom projecting out. Obviously some of it gets cut off, but I'll take what I can get. This is what I've got. This will be great. I can get this character mapped in, and then for the rest of the wall, I will have to do a Doodle Grid in the morning. Since this was indoors and I was projecting, I wanted to try something different. So I decided to trace my image with a yellow Posca marker. Posca, whatever they're called. Anyways, the lines were cleaner and it saved me a can of spray paint. That worked out really well. Obviously, I still have to finish the top of the head, map that in, map in some of the pencil, make a Doodle Grid down this whole wall. But that's going to be a problem for tomorrow me. Right now, me wants to go home and get some food, so I'm going to do that as well as some rest and be prepared for a long day tomorrow. I'll catch you guys in the morning. Good morning. It is officially day 1 of painting. Yesterday was obviously just prep work. So I'm going to head to the wall. I definitely need some coffee because I am exhausted. So coffee first, then to the wall. And I'm excited to see how much I get done today because today sets the stage for tomorrow. Obviously, the more I get done today, the less I have to do tomorrow. And I'm still very curious to see if this can get done in one weekend. So let's find out. All right, I'm all set up. I've got multiple fans set up down the hall. I've got one here that is blowing in that direction, obviously, to go down and out. I've got a fan down there, and I've got a fan around the corner. That's all going to blow out that door that I have to open now. And the first thing I want to do is get a Doodle Grid mapped out on this wall, and then start planning where the characters are going to fall, so we can finally start getting some paint on the wall and get some background going. So if you're not familiar with a Doodle Grid and you've never seen one, this is probably going to look chaotic to you. But don't worry, I'm going to explain everything. So once I'm done scribbling across the wall, I take a photo of the wall. From there, I open an app that's literally called Doodle Grid. The app is then going to ask for my canvas, which is the photo I just took of the wall. Next, the app will ask for my reference photo, which is my line drawing of the characters. Once my line drawing is placed over the photo of the wall, I can move my line drawing around to see exactly where I want my characters positioned on the wall. From there, I can click opacity and actually lower the opacity of the picture I placed on top of the wall so that I can see some of those reference marks of the Doodle Grid in the background. Once everything looks good, I take a screenshot. Now that I have that screenshot, I'm going to look for reference points, which to me is typically the eyes. I can see that the eye is right around the L, the Q, the P, and the R, so I'm going to use those as reference marks and map in the eye first. From there, I'll continue to find other reference points and finish mapping out the rest of the characters. I just started using the Doodle Grid method within this year, and I gotta say, it's been super helpful for getting my characters more accurately mapped out on the wall. Of course, there's plenty of different methods out there, so if you guys do art yourself, let me know how you guys transfer your art onto another surface. Once those characters were mapped out, it was time to repeat the same process and start mapping out the pterodactyl. I was really happy about the theme for this project. The daycare was very open, I've worked with them plenty, and I thought dinosaurs with art supplies would just be super fun for the kids. I couldn't wait to just map it all out and see it come together with color. At this point, I'm feeling pretty good. I got this character mapped out. I've got these two characters interacting together. And of course, last night I mapped out this character here. So my plan is there's empty space around and between that I think I want to put some trees. So I'm going to map in some trees and then I can finally start adding some clouds, some grass, some kind of background. Trees are all in place. Let's map out some cloudy skies. Thankfully, before I got there and the week leading up, the daycare was able to prep the wall. Originally, the wall was the light gray that you see at the bottom, but I had asked if someone was able to paint the blue for me so that it would make the sky go much quicker. This saved me so much time in spray paint. Once my clouds were all mapped in, I decided to map in some mountains and then add some dirt. Backgrounds are important, but I also wanted to make sure I didn't overcomplicate it and make it look too cluttered. The important things are the characters. That's what's going to stand out. The background is just there to complement them. With all that being said, this is a mural for kids, so adding a lot of color is going to be very important. So I went in and added some nice green grass. All of the layers were really starting to come together and I felt like the mural was getting some depth. But there were still a couple more things to do before I got into those characters. I'm moving along pretty fast, but let's go Bob Ross on this. Add some happy bushes and I don't know if that's going to be a happy tree. It's kind of a dead tree, but let's add that in. So you can see I just used this super fun technique to map in some bushes, or at least imply some bushes, by just spraying dots over and over, getting progressively lighter. And once I was done with that, it was time to get into the tree. I had a lot of fun texturing the trees, and I wanted to make sure that they looked fun and playful, like they were kind of out of some sort of fairy tale. Almost like a children's storybook was drawn onto the wall. I think I'm all done with the background, and I'm very excited about that. So the next step, I think I'm going to get this dinosaur done and just kind of work my way down that way so that I can finish from left to right and get closer to the door and push those fumes out. So come Monday, hopefully this is a little more aired out for the daycare. Let's get this dinosaur going. So you can see here, I am starting by basing my character with all of my midtone, and then I'm going to go in and just gradually add more contrast. Since there was a door to the outside on the right side of the hallway, I wanted my light source to come from the upper right. And since there was more light in that direction, it just made sense. Now let's get some more layers on this dinosaur and get it ready for some line work. To do all these tight blends, I'm using my level 1 cap, which is a very versatile cap. It's great for these small sections to be blended, but also great for line work. This mural was actually done with just 3 caps. I used the stock cap on the Montana cans, which is also known as the orange dot. And when I needed a thinner line than the level 1 could provide, I used my stencil cap. At this point, everything was going great. I was almost done with my first character. I was so happy with the progress being made for the first day, and I just had a few details left. All right, 1 character down. I'm very happy about that. Before I leave, I want to try working on the Triceratops a little bit, see where I can get so it's less work to do tomorrow. As you can see, I'm doing the same method as before where I'm just building up layers, and then once I have enough contrast, I am starting to outline the character. Now, I do want to point out that I am starting on the back section of the dinosaur because it is the furthest point. So I am layering strategically so that the closest point to the foreground will be done last. This is done to just make sure things kind of remain sharp. Everything that's closest to the viewer will be the sharpest point. Everything furthest back, it doesn't really matter as much if there's overspray as long as the foreground is sharp and in focus. And of course, this is just how I work. So if you guys work different, let me know in the comments. At this point, I was definitely relieved that I was more than halfway done. And even though I kind of knew in the back of my head I had an easy day for the next day, you still just never know if things are going to go wrong. So I was still hoping and making sure that I would get it done in 2 days. All I'm trying to say is it's important to make sure you don't celebrate until you're done and have something worth celebrating. All right, it's getting a little foggy in here, but here's where I'm at for today. I need, there's a lighter color pink that I need from my house. So I think I might call it for today, but I started, you could see the hat of this dinosaur. I got a lot of this dinosaur done. So things are going well. I mean, I was not planning, I figured I'd get maybe one character and maybe the background done. But to have all the background done, and I mean, this is where we're at today. I'm pretty stoked. So, good shape for tomorrow. So what I'm going to do is head home, pack the colors I need for tomorrow. I wrote down a list. So yeah, go home, get some rest, get some food, regroup, come back in the morning. I'll see you guys then. Good morning again. It is day 2 of painting, and I am so excited because I am so close to done. And that's good news for the daycare because that means there should be enough time for it to air out and I can clean everything up when I'm done today. So let's get down there and wrap this thing up. All right, I'm all set up and ready, but before I get started today, I want to take you guys on a quick tour of some of the other work that I've done here at the daycare. All right, so down this hallway, the first room that I'm going to show you guys is one of the baby rooms here. Turn the lights on. So I did this one a couple years back before I had YouTube. Kind of a Candyland theme. I thought would be fun with a woke piece, of course. And then we'll go back down the hallway to the other baby room I did. And I know I think I mentioned this when I did the entryway in that video. I talked a little bit about how this piece, just move this piece was done during the COVID shutdown when I could no longer tattoo. For 3 months we were shut down. So I was hired to do this baby room, and it got me back into spray painting, to be honest. So I did this character over there, and you can see I kind of based the background on the one that I'm working on today on this background. I wanted the trees to match, so that was super fun. And then I'll show you guys the entrance. Actually, let me turn the lights off real quick. I think I turned the lights off on the other one. Maybe I didn't. Anyways, let's go down this dark hallway because I don't know where all the lights are. There we go. There is the last set of characters here. There is a video on YouTube of these guys. Let me just zoom out. Super, super fun characters. So this is the first thing you see when you walk in is these guys. Let's get back to painting. You could see that light pink made such a difference. At least to me it did. It needed that extra highlight. I also love seeing more of the character being completed so it doesn't look as crazy as the dinosaur on the right, where you could still see all those numbers and letters. It just looks absolutely insane. So it's nice to see the character coming along and just look more complete.
you where you wanna go.
And here you'll see me changing my mind about what I'll call the beak of the dinosaur. I thought that it should just be a little darker. The pinks that I chose, just something about the blends wasn't sitting well with me. So these are decisions that, after looking at it overnight, I made the next day. I also want to point out that I'm not leaving it like that. It's obviously going to have some more tones to it. It's just when you're working on drywall, it's important to let certain sections dry before you layer too much because it will start to drip.
Me and my homies vibing, stacks off in my pocket 'cause we on the corner grinding. I'm in the candy cane, trunk
All right, 2 characters down, 2 characters to go. You can see I already based this in yellow because it's kind of boring. You guys don't need to see that part. You've seen it twice already. So let's get this Stegosaurus going, complete it so that we can get to the pterodactyl. I've had a lot of people question how I pick my color schemes, and I want to talk a little bit about that as I go over these dinosaurs. If you look at this background, it's primarily cool tones, mostly blue and green. So to me, the obvious choice for the dinosaurs was to make them mostly warm toned. Since yellow and orange are complementary colors to blue and green, to me it meant that one dinosaur would be yellow and one dinosaur would be orange. Now that I had that part figured out, I realized I still have 2 other dinosaurs and had to pick colors for them. I figured the smart choice would be pink for one, and you'll just have to stay tuned to see what color the pterodactyl is. The last strategy I had to figure out was exactly where I would place the colors of the dinosaur. I felt like yellow and orange were a little too similar, so I strategically placed the orange dinosaur on the far left side and then broke up the yellow one by putting the pink triceratops between them. When the mural is complete, these are things that will just look nice and feel like they just fell into place, but they're all very purposefully placed and very thought out. Even things like a green beanie on a dinosaur are not coincidental. I wanted to replay the grass that's on the lower portion of the mural in a higher portion of the mural so that your eyes would be led around and you'd start to see pattern. The same goes for the horns on the Triceratops, having some of the similar colors that were used in the ground. If this advice was useful, then send me some money or something. Three characters down, 1 left to go. Let's get it done. So back to what I was saying earlier about being strategic with colors, I decided to make the crayon be pink to balance out the Triceratops that is on the other side of the yellow Stegosaurus, and obviously you could see that I based the pterodactyl in red. I didn't show me basing the crayon or basing the pterodactyl because I was actually doing that while I was coloring in the Stegosaurus and waiting for portions to dry. As I said earlier, when you're painting on drywall, if you layer too much too quickly, you get a lot of drips. At this point in my process, I was so stoked. I was so close to the end. The only thing that I had to do after finishing the pterodactyl, of course, was to figure out how to sneak in my signature. And obviously I'm going to show you exactly where I put that signature, but first I need to sneak in a commercial for my website. That's right, if you want to support me more, you can head on over to woke1.com. Here I am constantly updating this site. I am adding original artwork all the time. There are prints, there is apparel, there's new hoodies for the colder weather that's coming, and there's also stickers and pins, so be sure to check it out and maybe pick yourself up something today. Another way to support me more is to join me on Patreon at woke.one. There are multiple tiers available, and the sneak peek tier got to get a sneak peek at this project about a week ago. Any help and support from you guys is greatly appreciated, so I'll make it easy and leave a link in the description of this video. Now let's get back to painting and thank my paid Patreon members now. All right, guys, I'm all done. I'm very excited. I got it done in 2 days. Technically 3 if you count that prep day, but we don't need to count that. If you guys have a project, something like this, a business that you want painted, a mural, if you want a tattoo, I will leave my contact link in the description of this video, so be sure to check that out. And without further ado, here it is, the final product.